looking for you something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop, let this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. Get your lick back. If a nigga owe you something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop, let this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. I feel like I'm JX. J-Way. I'm a perfectionist. Adderall got me restless. I'm gone. Run with a wild crew, they get reckless. Young boy, come up off that neck. Into the trends. See a lead be the.
Welcome to Bleachers and Speakers. I'm your host, June. I got my boy B. Foster with me. And before we get into this pregame show, I want to remind everyone to subscribe to Bleachers and Speakers on YouTube. Make sure you're following us on all the aggregators. That's anywhere you can listen to a podcast. You can find me and B. Foster. Just type in Bleachers and Speakers, FFSN in that search. Those are platforms like YouTube Music, Apple Podcasts, wherever you can listen to a podcast, you can find us. Just make sure you're following us. Make sure that notification bell is on, so when we drop content, you'll get an alert and download those episodes. We pay attention to the demographics, so when you download an episode, we know where you're at. So give us an idea where to target and stuff like that. Foster, we have a Monday night football game. And I'm going to say this, it's because of recent interest and recent success of the Lions that we are getting these Monday night football games and these primetime games and these featured 4:00 games. It was a time where the Lions were definitely on at 1:00 on Sunday. And I remember when they was blacking out the games because they didn't sell enough tickets. So we're here. This is what we asked for. And I hate waiting till Monday night, but it gives us a chance to actually do a pregame show the day before, get a chance to kick back and watch the games. I don't have a chance to watch the games early. I'll watch some of the games later. But, Monday night football, man. And, I don't know how many Monday night. Do you know how many Monday night football games we got this year, Foster?
I have no idea.
Yeah, it seems like usually we have at least one the past few years. And that wasn't always a thing for us. You know what I'm saying? So we have a matchup versus the Ravens, a team that scares me. They check all the boxes as far as offense, defense. And one thing that me and Foster have come to realize is that we don't like playing against mobile dual threat quarterbacks. We have that keeps us awake at night, knowing that we have to face something like that. And the last time we faced Baltimore in Baltimore, it was not pretty. I think they scored on the first 3 possessions, and then I think we went 3 and out on the first 3 possessions. So it was pretty bad. Foster, this game, we're 1-1. 3rd game of the season. How important is this game?
I mean, I think it's a pretty good measuring point for us to see where we're at. We learn as much as I feel like we learn from our team. I think it's still yet to be seen whether we can go on the road in hostile environments and be competitive. Yes, we beat the Bears pretty handedly, but Baltimore is a much more proven team. And I don't think this is I don't think that we're in a position to sit back and feel content, because Baltimore is a very good team. Lamar Jackson is nearly seamless against the NFC as a whole. So if we were to go into Baltimore and drop an egg, I don't think our win in Chicago against Chicago means nearly as much. So this is an important one, but I'm cautiously optimistic for certain aspects of the game. So we'll see how it goes.
Well, I have a theory, Foster, and I think there's a key to actually winning this game and being in this game. There's a couple keys, but from a defensive standpoint, I know people are looking at our defense and saying, no, this ain't it. But at the same time, if you look at the stats and you look at the games, the first 2 games, there was just a couple of series that looked bad, but overall, it wasn't as bad as it looked. I think Green Bay in game 1 scored on 2 pass plays in the second quarter, and they were already up. But if you look at the rest of the game, second half, the defense pretty much did their thing. It was the offense that didn't do too much. And so I think that game's a little different if the offense is clicking. If you saw the offense in week 2 that you saw in week 1, and it might have not been an option because Green Bay's defense has played so well. Game 2 versus the Redskins, they might have something going on over there and on the defensive side of the ball. They playing some good ball, so got to give them their props. But Baltimore presents a different problem. You have Lamar Jackson; he has weapons. They've always had a pretty decent defense. They have the running game. They have 2 great running backs, in my opinion. So for me, Foster, going into this game, you have to pick your poison, right? And I think we get in trouble if Lamar Jackson is running around like crazy. So I have a theory, Foster. You want to hear it?
I do want to hear it.
I think you pick your poison, you stack the box, you make Lamar be a pocket passer. When you do that, you kind of put your corners on an island, which is not our strong suit, but we play man-to-man defense anyway. I'm putting Branch in that box. He's going to be that spy, and I'm going to load the box, and you're not going to beat me on the run. You're going to, pause if applicable, you're going to win on Lamar Jackson's arm, which is highly possible. He's very skilled, but that's the way you're going to win versus me. That's what I do defensively. And then offensively, time of possession. We've seen during the Green Bay game how we can, we haven't been a quick strike offense. We've been sustaining drives. If we can do that several times and come up with 7, I think we've got a very good chance tomorrow night. What's your take, Foster? What do you think about what I said?
I think that if there was a weakness in a Lamar Jackson game, which he's been, a MVP candidate for the last couple of years, I think that you would lean on hoping that his arm, we know what he's going to be able to do with his legs, but and it may not even be so much on his arm as much as he doesn't have like that one marquee, receiver that he can lean on. But my biggest fear is it getting late in the game, Baltimore's up, and they're just wearing down our defense with, their 260-pound, 6'3", running back. That's got to be hell to tackle him late in the third quarter, late in the fourth quarter. So
you got a tight end size running back that runs a 4.4. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's just fast. That's going to run away from you too. And if you do catch up to him, now you got a problem on your hands there too. So no, I definitely agree, especially when you're on the road. You do not want the crowd to be. You don't want to get the crowd involved. You want to deflate the the fans with long drawn out series, and because between Jackson and Henry, you got two players that are at the top of the league in their respective positions. So that's going to be huge for sure.
I'm also going to pay attention to the interior offensive line for the Lions. Game 1 was their first game together with those 3 center, guard, and There was some miscommunication and missed assignments. They weren't getting bullied. They just was messing up as far as communication and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so they did a little bit better they did better versus the Bears. And the Bears' defensive line isn't horrible. So it's actually they have some players. So to an extent, they cleaned a lot of that stuff up. But this Baltimore Ravens defensive line is pretty good. However, they are missing their number one pass rush in Vanoy, and they're missing another defensive player on the line as well. And one thing they did well was pass rush. So I think their two top pass rushers are not playing today. That bodes well for the Lions. Hopefully we can move the ball. I think if we can run the ball, and I think if we can, it starts with the run. If we can run the ball, we should fare well versus that Baltimore defense, because it plays into everything. Everything is play action after that when it comes to Goff. If Goff can do play action effectively, he's a very, very accurate quarterback. You've seen some wobbles, some wobbling ducks out there, and but for the most part, he can get the ball to the receiver in those windows. So it's going to be an interesting game. It's going to be a very interesting game. This is not an easy game by stretch. And I think it's a good measuring stick, win or lose, of what we really have. Because if you can win this game, you're showing everyone what you really have going forward. And I'm going to tell you this. Put Tesla in. Tesla needs more plays. No disrespect to Khalif Raymond. He's a little bit shiftier of a wide receiver, and he can do a lot of things for you. But Tesla needs those touches, man. Get Tesla the ball. I think with Tesla, St. Brown, and J-Mo, and Laporta, you present a problem for defenses, D-backs and defensive backfields all over the league. So I think you put your best, and then you got Khalif Raymond. You can use him to spell somebody, but I think those are your top three receivers. And bless you. And I think Tesla is the reason why Tim Patrick is no longer a Lion. So let him, put him in the game. Tim Lyons, what's up, man? It's always good to hear from Tim. Tim says, I bet the over on this game, lots of TDs, not much defense. That would be interesting. That would be very interesting and good entertainment. Tim, I know y'all play the Vikings, right? I think Cincinnati, the Bengals play the Vikings, right? Yeah, that's going to be an interesting game with neither one of their starting quarterbacks playing. I don't want to get off on a tangent, but it's just I like Joe Burrow, and he's just he's been injury prone, and then I think this is second year where he's missed significant time, like for the rest of the season. So yeah, but I like what they had going on offensively in Cincinnati. It's just Joe got to stay healthy. Unfortunately, turf toe is very serious. It might not sound serious, but it is serious. And so he has to get that taken care of, unfortunately for them. And anybody that's playing a division rival, it's like, man, you want them at full strength, man. I'm sorry, Dave. I got to keep it a buck, man.
That's crazy.
Oh, my mistake. Tim Lyons said this is third year. Glass Joe showed up yet. Yeah, I mean, but when he's playing though, he's so good. He's so good. Foster, we got to talk about Mr. Davenport, our starting defensive end. I was on the phone with you when he got the sack and got hurt. I'll give everybody else some context. Foster was out of town. He had just touched down. He was at the airport. He called to check on the game. And I'm watching the game. I'm telling him Davenport got a sack, but he's not getting up. He's hurt. Now, a couple days ago, his arm was in a sling, and it just looked bad. And I think it's time, to have, whenever Marcus Davenport gets back, to put him on spot duty. I think it's just that time. I think we have
Do you
Muhammad.
think that it's going to help him any to just play less snaps, or do you just maximize what you get out of him?
I think it's just helpful not to depend on him.
Well, yeah. Well, they've already made their statement upon Muhammad being a getting an increased role, but I guess part of that I'm sure is to reward him, but it's also out of necessity. Like, do we have a choice at this point?
Hey man, me and you are believers in Muhammad, bro.
Yeah. All in on Muhammad for us.
So I think when he gets back, spot duty, because we can't depend on. Let's give Muhammad those reps. You can spell him with Davenport. It seems like, and this has been the theme since he got here. Play a couple games, hurt. Same thing this year. Play a couple games, hurt. And just the fact that you're hoping that he can make it is sick. Like, let's take a quick, because I got a segment I want to talk about, Foster. And it involves Marcus Davenport and it involves Brad Holmes. So let's take a quick break. If you're watching, we'll be back in 10 seconds. If you're listening, you're going to hear some wonderful ads. We got to pay the bills, but if you're watching, we'll be back in 10 seconds. I know at some point you got to let some stuff go, right? I'm not going to let stuff linger. But Zadarius Smith being cut or waived or whatever they did and signing Marcus Davenport is sickening to me. Even more, it was sick when it happened. Now it's more sickening because Zadarius Smith went to Philly, a place that he didn't need to go. Like, they weren't starving for a defensive end, yet they got better on defense. They acquired Zadarius Smith. And then, once again, Marcus Davenport is out of service. And it just makes me ask the question, Foster. Do you trust Brad Holmes and his decisions? I know it's just one, but how much do you trust Brad Holmes in this situation and overall? It's a lot to dissect.
It's such a loaded question because,
we got a few minutes for us to break it down. First, let's just start it like this. Do you trust his decision with this one? With this, do you trust him what he did with this scenario?
I understand the rationale in it. I understand that it's a numbers game, and that if he was a baseball GM, he would be able to keep Zadarius and then also pay everybody else he wants to as much money as he can. So I think that people are too short-sighted in seeing that, right now our team will be so much better, not factoring in that a decision like that has some type of there's a trickle down there's a trickle down effect to paying Zadarius Smith $8 million.
It's bigger than this year. And if you look at the overall picture, the thing is, I'm going to say it, right? I trust Brad Holmes. As a GM, I trust him. But at the same time, it's the Scorpio characteristic I have. I disagree with a lot of his moves, but but he proves me wrong. It's like, we've talked about this before, Foster, the draft picks. I've disagreed with most of them. I think the only draft pick in the last 3 years that I agreed with was Hutch and Branch.
Mm.
And he's done a lot more than that. And I've disagreed with him. I didn't like him trading up, giving away those 3rd round picks for Tesla. That's recent, right?
Yeah.
We can go back further. I didn't like the fact that you drafted J-Mo, and he was recovering from an ACL, and you traded up to draft him. I didn't like the fact you traded up to get Gibbs. Why are you taking running back? I was wrong about all of them. There was a wide receiver I wanted. They drafted St. Brown, and I'm like, why'd you pick him? So this is Brad Holmes doing. Yeah. I've been wrong a lot. Why are you picking up Sam Laporta? We don't need a tight end. Jack Campbell? Why? He's the worst linebacker to pick up.
Right.
These are my thoughts, and these are thoughts that I was very wrong on. So this is why I'm not a GM, and this is why I'm sitting in this seat right here. And I can admit that. So my thing is, I trust Brad Holmes. I just don't, and it sounds weird, but I don't agree with a lot of stuff, but he proves me wrong a lot. So when it comes to something like this, I have to think about the rationale, the whole overall picture, right? There's a reason. If the money was there and it wasn't a problem, he signs Zadarius Smith, no problem. Marcus Davenport was basically a cheap pickup, and it was a cheap gamble. If it works out, you look like a boss. If it doesn't, no harm foul. You didn't pay much for him. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, we do have some defensive ends opposite of Hutch that can do the job. We got Pascal. I don't know what his status is, but I trust Muhammad. I trust Pascal. You can move some. Detroit likes the bigger defensive ends, not just the rush ends that can just do that. That's why they love Davenport, because he was a big body that held up his end, and he was very good versus the run as well. He wasn't just, a defensive end that was just going to sack the quarterback. He held up his end. So I get it. You know what I'm saying? And then if you listen to Brad, and he broke it down over the summer, most teams don't have 2 dominant defensive ends. They don't. And I think we're just waiting for Hutch to round into form. We're just waiting for, once he's doing his thing, we may forget that we may forget about Zadarius Smith. If Hutch turns up, he got a sack last week. He gets a couple sacks Monday night, and Muhammad does his thing, we'll forget all about Davenport. We'll forget about Zadarius Smith. It would be one of those things where we just move forward. Tim Lyon says, I was pissed the Bengals drafted Chase instead of Sewell. I was wrong. Yeah, look, we all have in our minds that we're GMs, and we know what's best for the teams. And a lot of times we can be wrong. And then you get your players who you get, and you just fall in love with what you got. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of the picks that I didn't agree with, I've been proven wrong about. I would not. I love Jamar Gibbs, J-Mo, Laporta, Brown. These are people I was against. Jack Campbell's proving me wrong every week. He had 100 tackles last year. You haven't seen 100 tackle linebacker from the Lions in God knows how long. You know what I'm saying? So it's what he's doing is working. I'm gonna tell you something else though. There was one thing I agreed with, and I was totally wrong with. Cam Sutton. Yeah, bring him over here. Yeah.
Oh, we needed corners bad. Then.
Oh, it was bad, but you seen what happened. I was on the Cam Sutton bandwagon. Yeah, we just upgraded. But like I said, this is why I'm sitting over here and not in the front offices of the Detroit Lions because I be wrong. Foster, where are you watching the game at? It's a Monday night game. I know you have to work the next day. It's going to be tough. The only thing I don't like about a Monday night game is usually I work on Tuesday mornings, and I love to do recaps after the game. Right. It's going to be late.
Yeah, it's going to be real late.
So game starts at 11. The recap, game starts at 8. Game is over close to 11 or past 11. So that kind of sucks. But Foster, when we did the recap of which game was it? We had 100 people watching. Was it the Chicago Bears recap or was it Green?
I was on my way home during the Bears one. Was it the Packers? Was it the
Packers lost. We had 100 and some odd people watching, and it was like the most ever, right? And it was like, it was must see TV. We was going off about that loss. Like, it was crazy. But I would love to do a recap, but I can't promise anything at 11 o'clock. I mean, it has to be a very dynamic game to where I'm like, yes, and pumped. And I'll know by the fourth quarter whether I'm if it gets ugly, it's like, I'll talk about it tomorrow. But yeah. Other NFC North matchups, we have the Bears versus Dallas. We have Green Bay versus the Browns. And we have the Vikings versus the Bengals. And for our sake, I hope we win because I don't see Green Bay losing to the Browns. That Bears and Cowboys game could be a very good game. That starts at 4, right?
I believe so, yeah.
And that game in Chicago?
Yes, this is the battle of Arlington versus Arlington Heights, according to Pay.
Leave it to Pay with this crappy storylines. I guess. But I think that's going to be. I think that's that's going to be a good game. I think that's going to be a lot of offense in that game. I think it's going to be a lot of offense in that game. That game comes on 4. Hopefully, I am done with this wedding. I have to go to a wedding today, so and no, I'm not going like this. I had to get suited and booted, but yeah, that's going to be a good game. I think the Browns get demolished by Green Bay, and I don't know what I'm going to get versus the Vikings versus Bengals. I don't know. You have great wide receivers on both sides,
right?
But you have unproven quarterbacks that are starting today for both teams. I don't even know who the Bengals backup is.
Jake Browning. He actually played pretty good last year as the backup. Yeah, he's actually a solid backup. Okay. I think they won last week, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Tim Wine said, "Trash QBs." LOL.
Nothing to lose though. Neither guy is worried about their job. Like,
do you know who's starting for the Vikings?
Wentz. Carson Wentz.
They got Carson Wentz.
I believe. Yeah.
He's a shell of a man he once was. As far as QB, I remember he was on his way as an Eagle.
He won a Super Bowl, didn't he?
Won a Super Bowl. He was on his way.
Hey, how many quarterbacks can say they won a Super Bowl? I mean, a lot, but currently.
But when he was playing, he looked like one of them ones.
Yeah, he did.
And then he just those injuries, and he's going to see ghosts. Yeah, I mean that's going to be interesting. When is that game at 1 o'clock, Foster? Vikings, Bengals. Tim, what time do you guys play today? Because I know I'm going to miss it. If it's an early game, I'm definitely going to miss it. And I know the Browns and Bengals are probably the Browns and Packers are probably early. Yeah, they play at 1 o'clock. I'm going to miss that game. I ain't even going to pay attention to it, Foster. I'm gonna be real. I'm not even gonna watch any football. The wedding is at 12:30.
Okay. So you'll be back by, I don't know.
Bro, they got the thing scheduled from 1, the venue from 1 to 9. Bro, there's no way.
Gotta get up out of there, man.
Hey, I hope my family's not listening. But I'm telling you, I'm not staying nowhere near. I will be home long before 9 o'clock. I promise you.
1 to 9 is on a Sunday. You know how I am about Sunday events, man.
Hey,
who gets married on Sunday?
You know, right on a football Sunday, like
summer. Do it in the summertime. Man.
Hey, it's crazy, but you know what? It worked out for me because the Lions don't play the Monday night. That's probably the only game I really give a damn about.
Blessing right there.
So it fell right where it's supposed. You know, like I ain't too mad because I thought all the way up until like Wednesday that I was gonna miss the game, and then I found out it was a Monday night football game. This is how far I've been out the loop because I've been working so much, and so. Yeah, so I'll be able to watch Sunday night football. I'll be able to at least catch the second halves of the 4 o'clock games because, like I said, I plan on being home before 5. I'm not sure if he's a football fan or not. He doesn't. We don't talk. I know he likes college football. I don't know if he likes NFL football, but he's a great guy. He's marrying my niece. She's a great young lady. So we're going to have a good, happy day today without football. And the Lions play on Monday night. So I ain't too mad at all. I mean, I wasn't going to do anything but sit around and watch a bunch of teams that I don't pay attention to. For real. So Mile Marker says best time to get married is winter. You've got years of excuses for a winter vacation. Yeah, I guess. I got married in October, so you know. Yeah, but I got married on a Saturday, and I remember. Oh man, I hope the wife is listening. Before the wedding, I got to the venue early. I'm listening to the Michigan game on the radio outside the parking lot. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. Oh, let's see. Tim Lyon said, I got married in January in Reno, and I bet you the weather was pretty decent around that time.
Decent, yeah.
Yeah, pretty decent. I mean,
Nevada, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it beats the hell out of getting married in Reno anywhere in between March and November. I can imagine. Foster, I think we've said enough for this show. Foster, do you have anything we want to go over? Do you want to put a bow on this?
Yeah, I mean, I have a couple of other keys to the game that we talked to nauseam about probably the most important thing, and that's controlling the time of possession. But, well, this task may be a little bit easier, and that's just protecting Jared Goff. We saw what happened in the Packer game. We were able to turn things around, keep a clean pocket for him, and he was able to move the ball down the field. The Ravens are coming into this game with 38 total pressures between the two games, and they'll be out. They'll be without 2 of their top defensive linemen. The other guy that you were referring to is Nnamdi Madubuike, who will be out along with Cal Vinoy. So this is part of why.
Vinoy, man.
You said what?
We drafted Vinoy.
Right. That's the same one. Yeah. It's crazy how he just took off after he left us. You said what? Oh, Patricia. Yeah.
Matt Patricia era. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, that is part of what I am cautiously optimistic about. I've been known to say that we had an edge based upon injuries, and that bit me. The one that sticks out to me is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game last year, where their entire secondary, and they shut us down pretty good somehow.
They shut us down offensively.
But yeah, so they'll be without. Well, it says that Marlon Humphrey is unspecified. I do see that Jair Alexander, who has been slowly making his way back, is not listed on the injury report. So I'm assuming that he will be a full participant in the game. Some guy named John Jenkins, that's unspecified too. So they got a lot of injuries on their defensive line. But yeah, keeping the pocket clean and allowing Jared Goff to, work through his progressions and find players down the field is going to be important. We saw how he was able to, connect with J-Mo down the field, St. Brown down the field. So yeah, the opportunities are endless if we can do that and attack their secondary. That's been an issue for them last year. Like I said, they did go out and get Jair Alexander, but it remains to be an issue. I think Josh Allen had 394 passing yards in game one. So they are still susceptible to the pass. So, protection being the key, but, attacking by far their biggest weakness is also going to be important.
Well, I think this is a game where if we keep Goff protected, we run the ball, and we don't turn the ball over, we have a very good chance of winning. I think running the ball is key. That just shows your offensive line is actually doing what they're supposed to do, and that's been a question mark going in, in the offseason and heading into it, how well the offensive line would do with missing those key parts. We lost Frank. He retired, and we lost our starting left guard to Tennessee. So a lot of retooling on the offensive line. So that was going to be a question regardless going into the season and early in the season. There's a lot of Terry Arnold hate right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it hasn't been that bad. He hasn't been that bad. I think he got a bad rep last year. And going into the season, they was expecting an immediate turnaround. And he hasn't been that bad. I think once he gets an interception or two, people will start to see and appreciate some of the things he does do. But I felt bad for him last week because he got his interception, but it was overturned by a penalty. Something he didn't do. So that was something behind, but he did his part. It just, just a dumb penalty. I think it was Branch with a roughing the passer penalty. So something like that. So, but anyway, thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed to Bleachers to Speakers on YouTube, do so now. We are nearing 300 subscribers. Let's get to 300 subscribers. The way we can get to 300 subscribers is you go subscribe. If you're already subscribed, make sure you like, make sure you share, make sure you comment. That help us get in the algorithm, and just subscribe to the show. And, we'll get those subscribers up. Also, anywhere you can listen to a podcast, you can follow us there. Make sure that you hit the notification bell so when we drop content, you'll get an alert. And make sure you download those episodes. Mile Marker, good to see you, man. Thank you for watching. Foster, we're going to get out of here, man. Everybody that's preparing to watch football, I wish you a great Sunday, even though I had to prepare for a wedding. Mm-hmm. But still, enjoy your football Sunday and subscribe to Bleachers to Speakers on YouTube.
Get your lick back. If a nigga gon' do something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat.